As the mainstream media, the political prostitutes, pulpit puppets, and the poverty pimps use another criminal's death to make money and acquire power from, I wanted to focus on some people they'll never protest for. Although these men and women would and do sacrifice their lives to protect these sorry people. That just blows my mind. And that's one of the many things that make them heroes in my book. I wanted to create this to feature some officers that were lost, and none of them got a fraction of the coverage as a repeat offender who was arrested 44 times. Why? Because their sacrifice doesn't fit the narrative. Police Officer John Painter and Campus Safety Officer J.J. Jefferson were shot and killed while responding to a call involving a suspicious person carrying a duffel bag in a restricted area at Bridgewater College in Virginia last February. These officers were close friends, known to many as the dynamic duo. John was JJ's best man in his wedding the previous year. Officer Painter had formerly served as the police chief of the Grottoes Police Department. Officer Kennis Croom was shot and killed while responding to a domestic violence call. Officer Croom and the victim of the domestic violence were both shot and killed. Kennis was only 30 years old. Officer Loren was shot and killed while responding to a shooting call in Detroit, Michigan. When Officer Courts and his partner arrived on the scene, the subject immediately began shooting at them, striking Officer Courts while he was still in his patrol car. Not surprisingly, the shooter had a criminal record and could not buy a weapon legally. Officer Courts was 40 years old, and he had served with the Detroit Police Department for 5 years. He is survived by his wife, son, daughter, and parents. His father had recently retired from the Detroit Police Department. Deputy Sheriff Matthew Yates was shot and killed while responding to a shots fired call in South Charleston, Ohio. Deputy Yates had served with the Clark County Sheriff's Office for 15 years. He is survived by his wife, daughter, 2 sons, and father. Constable Deborah Martinez-Garibay was shot and killed while serving an eviction notice in Tucson, Arizona in August. She and the apartment manager were both shot when they knocked on the door to serve the eviction papers. She was a United States Army veteran and had served as constable for Precinct 8 for only 5 months. She is survived by her husband, daughter, parents, 2 sisters, and brother. Investigator Myiesha Stewart was shot and killed during a vehicle pursuit in Greenville, Mississippi on October 11th. Stewart was pursuing a subject who had fled after shooting his girlfriend. Investigator Stewart was only 30 years old, and she is survived by her 3-year-old son and her parents. I bet you've never heard about her. No White House press releases about her life and her sacrifice. Officer Branden Estorff and Sergeant Stephen Robin were shot and killed in December while conducting a welfare check on a woman and child sitting in a vehicle parked at a Motel 6. They had been speaking to the woman for approximately 30 minutes before making a request for Child Protective Services. Moments later, the woman opened fire, fatally wounding both of them. Officer Estorff had served the Bay St. Louis Police Department for 2 years. He was only 23 years old. He will never know what it's like to be a father. Sergeant Robin was 34 years old and previously served with the Hancock County Sheriff's Department. He is survived by his wife, children, and grandchildren. Lastly, I want to go to my home state. Corporal Ray Hamilton was shot and killed on Christmas Eve while investigating a domestic assault that had occurred the previous night. The suspect fired out of the window, striking Corporal Hamilton. He was transported to Fort Walton Beach, Destin Hospital, where he succumbed to his wounds. Corporal Hamilton had served the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office for 5 years. He is survived by his wife, brother, and 2 sisters. Can you imagine what this has done to his family? Can you imagine preparing for Christmas, but instead now you're planning your husband's, your son's funeral because of some evil jackass? How many preachers put on t-shirts and called their name from the pulpit? How many megastars hashtag them? How many networks dedicated hours to honor their life? How many cable news shows ran days of nonstop coverage on their tragedy? But we're being told to celebrate people who continually break the law, endanger others, and terrorize our society. The devil is a lie. We must reject this ass foolishness, or our country will fall to these woke, godless, neo-Marxist clowns. I need your help getting this message out, fam. I'm open to going on podcasts, TV, radio, all of it. So if you have a connect, drop me the info via my contact page on my website, supportourshields.com, or link up with me on my social media. Continue to share this in all your circles, but more importantly, continue to support our shields. God bless.